All right, people, how y'all doing? It is the Wingin' It podcast. We got a special guest, Shadow Fox. How you doing, man?
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Yeah, Dark Order. And Andre, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I mean, I'm not out here making $500 paperweights like other people are, so I'm doing good.
Just me. Just me.
So now,
It's right.
okay, so people, it's gonna be mostly a freestyle episode, but I did want to talk about a couple things that happened last week. One of them, I don't know if you guys like wrestling. I kind of do. I know Shadow does because we used to have some. And Andre, we used to do a little play-by-play weekly review of AEW Dynamite, and they had their AEW games presentation
Oh man,
this
that was
past
so funny.
Wednesday.
Now,
And
I, mm,
yeah, Andre, you start this one off.
look, if I hadn't known any better, I would have thought Devolver Digital did this whole event because of how it was set up, how they ran through everything. Everybody was dressed up like Steve Jobs. I'm like, man, y'all took this to an extreme. Y'all didn't have to take it.
Now, full disclaimer: I haven't seen the whole video, so I've only seen all the outtakes from everybody on Twitter, and I thought it was actually hilarious, and of course the actual news of the game and all that. So, yes, do fill me in. This is hilarious stuff because I saw the pictures of them walking out with the jeans and the turtlenecks.
So Kenny Omega starts it off, and I'm like, why the hell is Kenny dressed up like goddamn Steve Jobs? Then it started making sense. Then Ref Aubrey comes out, and she pulls off a referee's shirt to look like Steve Jobs to do the general manager game. Then Britt Baker comes out. She's just like Steve Jobs.
But
Oh, that's
she's out
awesome.
there. She's out there to promote like
The merch.
shirts and stuff that
Yeah.
they putting out.
And then and Cody doesn't do this a lot. He doesn't do like the comedy stuff a lot. He comes out and he has a
He did a good job.
That's
I'm
good
not gonna
stuff.
lie.
so and then you keep seeing Kenny get increasingly mad because everybody's ripping his idea of the Steve Jobs thing. So it's just getting funnier and funnier about a minute because he's making little snide comments every time somebody comes out like, God damn it. But I got to talk about that game, the Utes game that he got. I am getting that, and
Of course.
everything because so basically they have their own wrestling game coming out. He had the teaser show up. Some people been
Mhm.
making fun of the models. I don't think the models are bad personally. I don't know what they were expecting.
It's
I care
modeled
about the grappling
after.
engine.
Okay, it's modeled after WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy,
Sure.
WCW versus Nitro Revenge. It's modeled after those three games. That's
Yeah.
why the character models look that way.
Yeah, I just didn't understand why people was hating on that. I'm like, dude, it looks fine. So,
It's not
and
meant to. If people are worried about it looking realistic, and it's not meant to
I
look
don't
realistic,
want it to
it's
look.
meant to have a cartoony look to it.
Yeah, I don't want it to look realistic. That's no,
Which
hell
I'm
no.
fine with it as long as we find out whether or not a boy Black Baron is in there.
Oh,
Yeah, because I
that'd
hope
be
he
interesting.
is, man.
He's been bidding for it.
And I better get a Stadium Stampede match. I want to set up a Stadium Stampede match.
Look, you know if he ain't in the game, he's going to make his own character in the game.
You know, all of us are
go
gonna
online.
make him and put him in the game.
Yes.
He gonna go
knows that.
online. He gonna go online and play against people using himself anyways. They might as well just stick him in there.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and screenshot his shirt and
Yep. But yeah, I actually liked what I saw in the fact that Kenny was able to get the original director of No Mercy.
yeah, it's good stuff.
That right there sold me. I'm like, because now I know the grappling ninja gonna work.
Well, he's a gamer. Like Kenny, I don't think that Kenny would have signed off on this. Like,
If he
I don't
wasn't.
want to be. I'm not going to promote this if it's going to be trash. So
Yeah. Now they did have the general manager game is a mobile game, so I'm guessing it's gonna work in tandem with the actual game.
I
Yeah.
really do hope it does.
Yeah,
that's just to pay for the development of the youth game. So that's
yeah. But I think that's how it's gonna work, which to me isn't a bad thing. I mean, because everybody has GM modes on every damn thing else, so why not this? So now the casino game, which they had a nice little trailer for that with everybody at the casino.
Hmm.
And of course, Silver fucking it up for the Dark Order by going on black. And the dude's like, dude, with a Dark Order. He wanted to bet on red.
Bet on red.
Right. What the hell you doing, man? Like, so yeah, I thought that was actually cool. And as long as I get to do a gin and juice with Private Party,
That would be cool. That would be cool.
That gin and
I
juice.
think that should be in the game too, in the console game as well. But
Yeah, as long as I get to do a gin and juice with Private Party, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna, because that's like one of the favorite tag teams in the damn company. Which, to be honest, AEW's tag division is freaking sick.
yes,
So, I mean, yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that because it looks like it's gonna be a fun game.
yeah. I love the fact. I think this should have been, to be honest with you, I think this should have launched with the brand. But I know that you can't spread yourself too thin. But you've got a bunch of wrestlers, a bunch of at home wrestlers that Cody picked up, and the whole goal was to make his things as authentic as possible as wrestling used to be back then. All the humor, all the takes, everything. And the execution of the moves, which is what they pride themselves on more than anything else. So, like, I kind of thought that, yeah, you should launch with, you have your AEW branded game, which probably has the N64 or the old PlayStation Classic style grappling, and you have the actual wrestling, and you do your takes, and then both you advertise the game advertises the show, and vice versa, and that will help with getting the show off the ground. But considering it kind of started as a fan favor, and everybody was like, "Whoa, you sold out that show," and they kind of, I think the success kind of ran away before they planned it to, and that's probably why stuff like this is just now happening. So
yeah, I mean, it started on a bet.
Yeah, literally on a bet.
They were like,
he had been playing on one for years, but
yeah, they're like, you bet you can't sell out a show, and they sold out 3 of them.
Yep. So we'll see. Cody's doing his tours now. He's guest hosting on game shows and stuff like that now. So they're trying to spread the brand as much as possible. I'm just hoping that this game takes off and it helps to provide this brand even more, because I do believe that AEW as a wrestling brand will end up being the actual face of what the spectator sport is supposed to be. Because we all know where former WCW has gone. It's kind of, and I don't want to disrespect the old girl, because I think she's been a hard worker for a very long time, but I think she needs to leave and come on over. But I guess the money wasn't looking right when she was trying to leave. But you're Snoop Dogg's cousin. Do you really need the money? Like, I don't understand.
The way it's going over there now, because they don't want them to have Twitch, they don't want them to have, man. Yeah, I know Cody them just like, y'all can come here because everybody still got their Twitch channels. They run them every damn weekend.
And then Cody's like, you want to go overseas? If you want to do some Japanese wrestling for a while and come back, fine, you can do it. So
yeah, because they have, like, I will give AEW this. They have an international roster. That's not a lie. That is not a lie. They have. That's why they was kind of hurting this during the pandemic, because like half of their wrestlers was stuck in Europe and Japan and couldn't get back over. So that's that's why I like how they went and basically like, okay, the indie people ain't working right now because they stuff closed. We still kind of working. So AEW Dark's just been a lot of indie people I ain't never heard of before, but I'm liking these matches, man. So it's just introducing people to a lot of other people that you would normally not even be able to see, because WWE wasn't going to let them come over there. So
those would be the pre-show wrestlers for WWE.
And you wouldn't even be able to see it because they wouldn't put that shit nowhere. So that's what I'm saying. At least you get to see them with AEW. So I'm like,
those used to be the Sunday Night Heat matches.
Yeah.
Then they got bumped off that roster too.
Yeah, they got bumped off that. But like, shoot, AEW has Dark. They put all their stuff on YouTube. Yeah, it's a YouTube show. They just like, okay, look, this gonna be on YouTube.
Hey, it's a good way of making money, and plus, now they're running their own game studio out of everything that they're doing. They could take to a lot more stuff than just being wrestling games.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
If they get real smart with it, they might do a beat 'em up.
Yes.
And Kenny is a gamer, which begs the question: when this comes out, how long will it take before Xavier Woods challenges Kenny Omega? You know they still got their thing from what was it? Evo. That
But
Street
they had
Fighter
a back
match
and
that
forth.
ended in like a draw. Hey, I
Hmm.
need closer to that. By the way, Kenny and Xavier, I need closer to that.
Man,
Yeah, I need close because that was a good ass match. There's two of them going at it.
they can do their own gaming tournaments in a wrestling ring. I just thought about that.
Yeah,
They
they
can
wanted.
really do that.
If they wanted to, because I remember that E3 they had the New Day versus the Elite. That was funny. That was for a few laughs. Because the only two people good was Kenny and Xavier. So,
Yep.
like Kofi got rocked, Matt and Nick got rocked, Big E got rocked. It just came down. Everybody knew who it was gonna come down to. It was just like, man, this is hilariously funny. So
they actually played a game, so
yeah, they actually So
Look, they
like I
needed
said,
some
I'm like,
fodder.
yeah, this is gonna be interesting because I'm pretty sure Xavier Woods gonna get it. They probably won't let him play it on up down down, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna get it.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna get it. So because I can't see him not getting it. I can't.
Man.
But yeah, if you have not had a chance to see that presentation, it's 20 minutes of nonstop laughter.
I'll say it does start off a little slow.
Yeah.
Once it gets rolling, it gets
Well,
fun.
the first joke when they showed the 8-bit and how glitchy that joke was,
That was horrible.
I was sitting there like, I know good and damn well they did not sit here and think that was going. Then I'm
They
like,
got a troll.
yeah. Then I'm like, okay, this is Kenny. He probably trolling like a mother. So yeah.
He probably specifically asked for them to do that. It's like, could y'all make a just a very very short
15 seconds.
30
Just
second
15 seconds. Yeah.
Now you got
15,
people
30
like us
seconds.
that actually want that jank. Like,
Yeah.
could that be like downloadable? Is that
Yeah.
Mr. Egg or?
Look, they're gonna find some way to hide it in the game.
Yep.
Yep. You'll be able to unlock it or some kind of crazy mess. Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see them have a side scroll and beat them up at some point.
That would actually be cool. I'm down
I
for
would
it.
not be surprised. But the good thing is though, he said it's all coming to all current and next gen consoles, so everybody's getting a shot at it. So
Now,
That's
if only
awesome.
they can make sure. And I hate stressing this point for everybody, but if they could do cross-platform play, it would be much more beneficial. Much more beneficial.
yeah.
Sony's holding the bag on that one though. So I don't know.
All they got to do, man, like just tell somebody, like you'll get more money. To be honest, because like, and I keep saying, if people want this console war thing to be legit, have every platform be able to get the same game and to be able to
That's
play
not
against
gonna happen.
each other.
That's not gonna happen because and Shadow, you know this. You know why this ain't gonna happen. Because back during that Wii U generation, we said that about that Call of Duty because
Yep. They didn't want that smoke.
they didn't want that smoke.
It's like we got nunchucks. We got man.
I
If
still
you ain't
wanna
playing on
see-
PC, it's no comparison.
No.
Like,
I still want to see a mouse and keyboard versus IR motion controls.
Mm-hmm.
it'd
And
probably
it's-
be a dead heat. It'd probably be a dead heat.
I know it would, but it would be so much fun to watch.
Yeah,
Because
because
at that point, it's all reflexes.
and boy, you're gonna have some people rage quitting. Talk about rage quitting, boy.
Like, look, if you got a dual stick controller, don't even join in on this match.
Yeah,
Too slow.
The name of the lobby is gonna be not for dual dual twitch.
No
controllers.
dual sticks.
No dual stick controllers. No dual sticks.
Like the closest you would get using dual stick is having a gyro assisted aim, because that'll help with dual stick. But if you ain't got that,
You can hang it up. So I would love the idea of cross-platform, but once again, hey, if Sony won't play, we know which two do,
Yep.
and don't have a problem doing it.
Nope. Survive together. That's what they say.
Yeah, like so that's that. So the other thing I want to talk about before we start freestyling, so this is going to be a question because it does have to do with the pandemic a little bit. So last week, if you don't know, BioNTech and Pfizer came out with a coronavirus vaccine. I'm not going to get into that, but immediately when it came through, Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony stock took a little bit of a hit. So my question to you guys is, we know the pandemic was actually good for gaming because you couldn't go nowhere. So, hey, what you gonna do? So do you think this is gonna be like one of those situations where Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft are like, God damn it?
Kind of, yeah, kind of not.
Yes, Sony, yes, Microsoft and Nintendo, not so much.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, Microsoft, because Microsoft has Microsoft money. So
yeah. And Nintendo is still sitting on a vast amount of cash.
Yeah.
What is it? I think it's like $10 billion or something like that. $10 billion.
They're sitting on a good amount.
Yeah. At this point, you're talking about the difference between Animal Crossing selling 2 million in a couple of months versus selling 4 million in a couple of months. That's about the difference we're talking about here. Yeah, it went viral, but if it didn't go viral, Nintendo was still getting their money. So I don't see it being a difference for them. Microsoft maybe, because Microsoft is trying to play both sides of this whole equation. Yeah, as far as the gaming side goes anyway, but obviously Xbox is the least of their worries right now. They're trying to get they're trying to pay for all these licenses for all these enterprise customers they got right now. That's more what they're worried about more than anything else. So.
Look, Microsoft, all y'all gotta do is stick Game Pass on the Switch. Been saying it, but y'all don't want to listen.
Well, hold on. Okay. Now they've been saying, they have come out and said that they're not doing that they are not going to. Is that Ori and the Will of the Wisps? We are not doing that. We are not going to. Y'all need to start asking for that. Is that Steve on Smash Brothers? We're not doing this. We're not going to.
Oh my God, Cuphead just
Rare Replay is. I've been saying this. Rare Replay gonna find a way on that damn Switch. Rare Replay gonna find, and that's when I'm gonna know Phil Spencer was lying.
That's also when you're gonna know that they was listening to my videos.
Definitely.
You still didn't trademark that, and I told you to trademark it.
Trademark the video before they take it.
Technically, because I posted it before anyone else, and I can prove that I posted it before anyone else.
Wait, Microsoft isn't a small studio, so it probably won't matter. They'll probably just buy you out, and nobody will know.
Look, I get money. I don't care.
Yeah.
So game idea, guys. So we want you to only do predictions on our stuff.
It's like Andre took down all his videos, and he's only doing Microsoft videos now. I wonder
why is he only doing Microsoft, and why does he have a car that turns into a hoverboat?
Yeah, every video precedes him standing on top of a Tesla. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand this.
Okay, nah, I would not get a Tesla. I'm sorry, I don't want a car that looks like a block.
You're gonna buy a Tesla just so haters can hate. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna drive it.
No. Hey, look, if I'm not going to use it, I ain't going to get it.
You had a Cyberpunk 2077.
I'll pull what Blake Shelton be doing on The Voice. I have a cardboard cutout.
Yeah. Have the fake Tesla. It's actually just like a mini stage, and it just looks like a Tesla.
Yeah. that would work better. I just have it sitting there.
But yeah, it was kind of funny to me when I saw that, because I'm like, all three of them took a hit the same day. I'm like,
yep.
That's because everybody assumed as soon as these vaccines come out, that everybody's just gonna get back to work and everything's gonna go back to normal, so they don't have to invest as much money. Yeah. That's not how it's gonna work.
Yeah,
investors are dumb and old, man. They're dumb and old. That's all I can say.
It's like,
even in Japan, apparently.
It's like, let's pull all of this money out of where we were making a bunch of money from. Okay.
Well, the funny thing, because I've told people, like, the reason why nothing's ever going back to the same, because like a lot of those businesses were mom and pop and small businesses, they're done.
Yeah, a lot of them are gone.
A lot of them are done. Like, you'll probably be able to like make another one, but a different business. But a lot of those businesses are gone, so they're not coming back.
I would definitely say that the majority of the mom and pop businesses that were nothing but a clone of what the big businesses were, even though in retrospect the big businesses were a clone of the mom and pops, they won't have a thing going forward. Everything they do now will have to be bespoke in some way. There's got to be some type of custom, hey, we do this thing over here in addition to the other thing that we do. Like if you come in, we have custom seating, or we're doing massages, or something that a corporation cannot duplicate. So like that's where we were talking before about the whole movie situation. Like every theater at this point, like there is zero reason for you to cram people. It should be a private session. You should be able to order a private session and people come in there and do whatever, providing masks or not without masks, even after the pandemic is over with. Yeah. Like it should be a private type scenario. Sure. That's what you should be paying for, instead of paying for inconvenience sitting next to somebody else being loud, not doing whatever with their kids.
They should just go ahead and do hosting parties and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's what's gonna wind up happening, just because like
the popcorn's good.
People done got used to like Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and HBO Max having their stuff ready for them. They go that video on demand. If you got a family, $30 is cheap compared to having to buy you a ticket, your wife a ticket, your 3 kids a ticket, and concessions. That's when you add all that up, you have no problem paying $30.
Finding parking, and also you're just driving to go sit in somebody else's building.
Yeah. And you at the house, and you can just order 2 pizzas, and you already got drinks in the crib.
Yep.
You just spent $40 as opposed to $100.
Yep.
Which one you think parents are gonna like more?
Victim.
Yeah. Which one do you think parents are gonna like more? They're gonna like the video on demand way. Like, yeah, let me stay. I can stay home and watch this.
Well, the experience isn't bigger, and I'm like,
I got a 70-inch TV in sitting here. Yeah.
Like, look, you got
turn the lights down.
TV. You got decent TV. You got decent sound system.
Yeah.
You don't even need the best sound system. You could get like a $30-$40 sound system and replicate what you do in a theater.
You just need 100 watts of bass. You're good.
Yeah.
100 watts of bass. You're good.
You
don't want to shake your entire house. So. Yep.
Your subwoofer might need to be banging, but yeah.
That's it. That's all you need. So like if businesses start catering to those special needs, I think that mom and pops can kind of find new, because if you start looking at not to brag on Atlanta, but if you look at a lot of those urban businesses that are happening, like Slutty Vegan and whatnot, their lines wrapped around the corner. They're not hurting during this at all, because nothing can touch what they're doing. So even if a corporation came out to try to replicate what Pinky is doing with her business, it won't be the same, because there's a personal touch to it, and the experience of going there, period, is something that can't be replicated. Like if you all of a sudden you just say, hey, look, we have 1 million of these stores that kind of sell halfway what she's doing, when what she's doing takes time, and it takes the effort of the people that she's training to prepare these meals in a certain way, and there's no high-speed way of doing it. There's no high-speed way of taking what are essentially beans and turning them into meat. Like there's no way of doing that. So you're gonna have, there's no corporation that would just say, I sign off on getting this small business out of town. They're not gonna do it, because there's no profitable way of doing that.
No.
So you can make your own profit based on the work and the time that you put into what you're doing. And I feel that if other people start thinking that way, a lot of the small mom and pop start thinking that way, you can start doing it. And that, to bring it back to gaming, the personal arcade experiences can start coming back. The small mom and pop stores can start coming back and actually start focusing on legacy content. Like it's so hard to find in a lot of major cities. It's so hard to find a place to go and find a lot of the old legacy cartridges for the MVS, AES, for Neo Geo and stuff like that. Like, where can I find a TurboGrafx 16 game card? That kind of stuff. Like, you can start to come up with a way to make a business for things that aren't profitable for a corporation to do. And it can be profitable for you in the long run, as long as you create an experience where people want to come back. So yeah. I think even in gaming that can survive on the mom and pop side. They just got to think a little bit. Yeah,
like the last surviving Blockbuster.
Man,
the one that's renting out like an overnight like a sleepover experience.
Yep.
Honestly, I've been wondering why a lot of when arcades started dying out, why they weren't doing something similar to that, where okay, you could have your arcade experience, or you could have a setup where you could have a bunch of different game consoles sprawled out amongst a wide area, and you could just have people come pay to have like a service experience where you provide them the food, the snacks and drinks, and the games, and they come and pay just for the experience and the entertainment.
Yes. And so looking into how that happened, unfortunately, I think corporations killed that too, because you started having other big companies coming out and try to get the lion's share of the machines from these amusement shows and stuff like that, where people were shopping their wares. when you as a lowly customer are like, hey, I need a lower price for this Killer Instinct 2 machine, and there is a Dave and Buster's worldwide corporation now saying, hey, we'll buy 9,000 of those for a higher price than what this person is paying for. Now that local shop can't afford it anymore, but every big chain has them, and you're like, well, what is that going to mean for all the rest of the local arcades in the world or what have you? And that's exactly what ended up happening. Like, they couldn't afford to keep them, and there weren't enough. Except in Japan, because Japan cared about the culture, so it wasn't, there were no big corporations coming in to take that. It was either, do you want a console or do you want to play an arcade? And usually most people want both. They want both experiences. So it just, over here, it just instantly became, ooh, corporation. I will only go to Dave and Buster's now. And that's literally what, that's what ended up happening. So all the smaller arcades ended up dying because they couldn't afford, and the new machines ended up getting higher and higher in price because Dave and Buster's could afford them. So that's just one of those things. So it sucks. It sucks. So the only way is to do like a Battle and Brew that that was here or whatever, where you come in and you're also selling alcohol. You got game board nights, events. So you're used to the bar type experience and make that. That's the only other way to even bring that back, unfortunately.
Okay, so freestyle. So on that point, since we are living in pandemic world, and despite what everybody want to believe, we have no idea when this is going to even be close to over, because there's no surefire way to say, hey, this vaccine is going to work. We don't know. They haven't done human trials, but that's not going to be talked about. But is now the time to say, hey, a small investor, I got this warehouse that had to shut down due to pandemic, and Arcade One Up been selling these arcades at about $200-$300 with 4-5 games on them. I mean,
hey, somebody
could this be a way to bring it back? Because the reason why a lot of y'all ain't gonna go for this arcade thing, because a lot of y'all love to be randoms online and talk trash. Because if you do that in real life, you will get your ass whooped.
Yes, there's an actual person next to you that may or may not know how to fight. So
the problem is that people online don't know the art of trash talk.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to trash talk and still be respectful to the person that you trash talking.
Yep.
Yeah, because it ain't nothing for somebody to go like this. Y'all love y'all favorite scene from Avengers.
Stiff arm.
Yeah. I know y'all seen what Derrick Henry did to Josh Norman. He made Josh Norman's career rest in peace. But look, man, I ain't the one that got my soul pushed out my body.
I think Derrick Henry just did that to a lineman the other day too. That was kind of embarrassing.
He basically
was 315 pounds.
Yeah, and slammed him. Like, bro, what the hell? Yeah,
he's a mutant. But anyway,
that being said, he goes to Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters. But I was just thinking about that. Like, you know what? It's nothing for an investor to just do that now, because, like I said, when people start wanting to go somewhere, you can have it spaced out.
Yeah.
Have it spaced out and still be, have it where people can actually come in, have maybe at the beginning have a limitation until
everything opens back up.
Yeah. Yep. Have like a occupancy limitation, because everybody's having it. Everybody has an occupancy limitation. So, it's. Do you think that could be a possibility?
I think so. Have y'all seen the larger format versus games? Like the Pac-Man versus and stuff like that, the arcade versions of those. They have they have the giant tournament joystick mounts, just like you would in like you've seen the Wizard. Everybody's seen the end of the Wizard, how they have the giant panel comes out of the floor. So they have those with the joysticks on either end, and they're spaced apart. They're pretty. I want to say they're about a good 2 or 3 feet apart. And you could either sit in a chair, sit in a bar stool, or you could stand up and you could play Pac-Man versus up to 4 people, spaced perfectly apart to play something like that in the arcade. It takes up a lot of space of the arcade, but it's some stuff like that can happen. I mean, you could set up those kind of little those kind of joysticks tables real far away from the display. Obviously, that means you're gonna have a bigger display, which means more cost to the business. But you would be able to have like a bigger kind of audience type environment, because hey, look, you got these giant sticks just sitting here, this giant little thing sitting here. 2 people go stand in front of it, and everybody's watching it. So you have some type of spectator, and that drums up interest for the machine too. So you get people coming back.
Yeah. They could
So,
do that, or they could, if somebody is real sneaky, they could set up like a large, like doing the similar thing, doing a large screen, but behind that have different consoles that are set up, and
yeah,
you just have somebody go back and swap the console that's being displayed. It's not like there aren't things out there. There's plenty of different switch boxes for that.
Yeah.
yes. So
So
you can
you
do that
could
too.
again you could do the Pac-Man versus scenario and have somebody playing with a GameCube with a Game Boy player hooked up to another GameCube, and
Yep.
that's a smaller screen for that person, so that they are specifically on that screen, and then have everybody else playing on a bigger screen.
The console sounds like that's a good a cheaper alternative too, because a lot
Yep.
of these ports, a lot of these arcade ports on these consoles literally still have the coin trigger button on them.
Yeah.
So you could map that trigger button to the coin drop, and you drop the coin, or you insert the card for your tokens or whatever, and then that creates a credit for you, and you can press start. Like that, those things are still in a lot of those ports. Like all the Samurai Showdown games, all those ports still have those there. So you could still, that could definitely still happen on a console. So
Mhm.
yeah, I can see that happening.
And you know what that means though, because y'all not mentioned the one game that will must be played in arcade once this actually happens.
Uh oh.
Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh
Ooh.
man.
Yep,
Ooh. You
I
you
don't.
looking for a fight, ain't you?
I am.
You want to see people lined up slugging it
And
out after somebody. You cheated. No, I
yeah,
didn't. You cheated.
I
Why
can't
are you
wait.
using a joystick? Why are you using Joy-Con? Why are you using the gamepad? Like,
I can't wait to see that one
Nah,
pro
no,
player
no, no,
that
no.
one pro player that hates items and he has to deal with somebody that playing with items on.
Nah,
I can't wait.
nah.
I will have
Your worst
popcorn ready for
game.
that.
Your worst two games for this would be Mario Kart, and Mario Party.
ooh, yeah, that
Oh,
too. Ooh, and
well,
the shade. Oh,
well, Mario Kart actually has an arcade in what is it,
Yeah,
the
but
one that
yeah.
Bandai Namco did?
yeah,
But theirs is less. There's less shade in that one though, because it since it's more arcade like. You there's less room for being angry at the person next to you
hmm
versus actual Mario Kart when you're like, yeah, you held that for the entire race and then hit me
Yep.
with like. It's,
It'll be
Oh,
like it'll be
and
like that
plus,
South Park movie when they be making up cuss words.
oh
yep.
yeah,
And plus with the Switch, since you have wireless LAN anyway,
yep,
you can
Mhm.
play everything locally. You don't even have to go online.
Yep.
yeah,
Which
Mm.
yeah.
is how I think Smash was meant to be played anyway. It was locally. It wasn't never meant to be online, but that's just me.
Yeah,
That's
it was that kind of game. Uh the amount of input delay that like it's not very tolerant to that at all. So yeah, I would imagine like local land, local co-op, like as far as input delay, you talking about originally this was designed for a console with a serial connection going directly in, and you instantly get a response on the screen to what we're dealing with now. And no amount of netcode. I hear and I see a lot of posts from people on Twitter and stuff talking about, oh, well, we emulated this game and we put this in there, and I'm like, it's still not the same experience. It's not. It's not the same as having Nintendo 64 and 4 controllers. Even the newer consoles now, the newer versions of this game now is still not going to be the same type of response as
mm-mm.
having those 4 ports on that one console and just going like it's
Oh,
not.
Yeah.
that's why they have the that's why you can purchase the ports that
Adapter.
come
Yep.
Yeah.
in so that you can have that on the
I
market.
mean, I just think some games just really aren't meant to be played on. Like they were meant for couch co-op. They weren't meant
Yeah.
for online play. And people, it got the game would get popular, and then people were like, oh, this has to be online, and you're like,
Nah.
no, it don't.
I mean, it's nice to have it, but it's not
Yeah,
required. And
it's
like,
not
especially
required.
in a scenario like what we're talking about, if somebody did that and they took modern systems and even more classic systems and just like set up some sort of environment like that for people, like you got your room for Nintendo, then you got your room for Microsoft, you got your room for Sony, and then you have a separate room for PC, and and you're using what you have, like sharing your games throughout those platforms within those rooms, people will be happy.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially like you can even set up memberships for people at that point. Like you can have a membership where you can come in, chill out, have something to eat, snack, game for a few hours, and then head off.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a plan. I mean, That actually does. Hey, Shadow, did you ever finally play the Hyrule Warriors demo?
No, I didn't. But I'm still stuck in between Final Fantasy X and Demon Souls right now. Demon Souls on PS3, mind you. I'm working my way back from all the Kingsfield games to Dark Souls 3. So I'm kind of in two places at one time right now, and then I'll eventually. Hell, probably ain't no point in me downloading the demo now. I might
There
as
ain't
well
no
just
point.
play the
Somebody
game next
tried it.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will just play the game. So,
Look,
but no, is it any different as far as playability goes from Hyrule Warriors, or because I know you just have new characters and whatnot, but
Hyrule Warriors, you got if you play Hyrule Warriors, you have the gist of how the gameplay going to go.
okay.
But it plays differently. So
there's new gameplay aspects as far as so the combo system changed a little bit.
A little bit because it's you're incorporating Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
So they had to change some stuff up a little bit. I think it works personally. Everybody was loving how Zelda played. I did not.
So can Link use stasis too, or is it just her since she has a tablet? Everybody can. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know how you had to go to all the other weapons. Instead of that, they have it mapped to,
different buttons.
for the Sheikah Slate. So
okay.
It's a little bit different, but I mean, once again, Link is the sucky character in his own game.
Where it happens, man. I don't
but
know.
He's the base character. He's the base. That's like playing with Ryu in Street Fighter. Like, you just gotta know he's the base character.
I wonder, is he going to be the main character though in the actual game, like Hyrule Warriors though? Because you're supposed to play with him through the main game, but then you start unlocking characters as you go, and you're like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I don't want him.
Yeah, because I was looking at Game Explain, because Game Explain, they actually had a better demo than we got. They got to play the first two chapters. We only got to play the first one. Nintendo's hating. Yeah, so they actually unlocked Urbosa, Rivali, Daruk, and Miva, because that's what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, and they were talking about that, and I'm just sitting there looking at all that Urbosa gameplay, and I'm like, I really want a Soul Calibur game with all Legend of Zelda characters now.
That would be kind of cool.
It is not like they can't do it.
Zelda officially knows how to fence.
I mean,
shameless self-promotion video on my channel for that.
Yeah. Now, Nintendo, I need y'all to go to that channel, and I need y'all to,
yeah, just make that happen. Work that deal with Namco.
I mean, look, Namco partially listened to me about Soul Calibur 6 anyway.
Look, it ain't trademark. You can go and get it.
The characters are theirs anyway. They can do whatever they want with it.
They had to board me and like, look, man, this Andre guy, he's not trademarking none of his stuff. We can just, I promise you. And it's money. Video. It's nothing but money.
Yeah, just look at the video and just make notes.
No, they're clearly watching at this point, though. Now they're clearly watching, so
I know Capcom is.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Capcom is.
So I not to spill the beans on the date on your channel, but I've seen a couple of videos where I know the view count was low, like extremely low, and then like a couple of weeks later there's an announcement. I'm like, or like a year later there'd be an announcement, and I'm like, so you didn't watch it, or you watched it, and then somehow Google said no, they didn't watch it, and yeah, because it doesn't match. Like, and then other people when they see the video or whatever, they're like, yeah, this video is just like blah 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 blah, and I see some people sharing, and like, hey, this dude talked about this a year ago or whatever, and I know people are going to watch, but I don't see the increase, or I'll see more replies to the video than I'll see views, and I'm like, how is that possible? Okay. So
that's possible if people are replying directly through the notifications
instead of going into the browser.
Yep.
I'll have to drill into that a little bit more because it's still kind of suspect.
Like, I done found some suspect videos. I'm not naming nobody's names, but I done found some suspect videos that aped my format several times, and I'm like,
but why do that? Like, it's not even.
I'm not even gonna lie, I'm more flattered than anything. But I look at them like, These people get views saying the same thing I said over a year ago.
That algorithm, baby, that YouTube algorithm, gotta love it. Gotta love it.
But
So yeah, I still want my Soul Calibur-esque Fire Emblem or Legend of Zelda game. But that brings me to a good point. Because I know me and Rob of Ruler 2 Review said this about the Metroid series. You're like, okay, why don't they just do spin-off games and have that as part of your go into? We said that about 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
And I know Shadow, me and you talked about that because we was talking about how the hell with Soul Calibur 6, just do just do a Fire Emblem game or do we use the Fire Emblem example.
Yeah, Fire Emblem Duel. Just call it that.
Just do a Fire Emblem game. You can have that as be like one of the spin-off games and just do it like that. So seeing as how Nintendo's doing this with Breath of the Wild, okay, so Age of Calamity is a prequel done by Koei Tecmo. Sadly, no volleyball part.
The bad thing is they have precedence for it in actual Breath of the Wild. That's even worse.
Yeah. So you have that. You have Breath of the Wild, and then you have Breath of the Wild 2. You just basically made a trilogy with two main games and one spinoff. So you technically can do this.
Yeah.
Technically. So I'm wondering if this is gonna hopefully it's successful. Hopefully this does set up a trend. So like, hey, Halo, we know y'all got hellified problems over 343 right now, but
y'all need help.
But hey, in the meantime, why don't you set up this? Like, have another studio come in, maybe and they don't have to be like ridiculously big games. They don't.
Nah.
You know, you can have it just have it like a third person cover shooter or something. I don't know, like some, like RPG. I don't know, but whatever, and just have that like go into it. That gives your main team enough time to fire everybody and hire somebody else new.
Yep.
And
you said it right.
Yeah. And then get the game running. I mean, I know they should have did this for Metroid. Nintendo should have did this.
There's a lot of things that they could have done with Metroid. There's so many different types of spin-offs they could have done with Metroid.
First of all,
Where's our side-scrolling game? I'm still looking for that too. Metroid Dread.
First of all, I'm going on record as saying all y'all that hated on Other M, y'all ain't play that game. God dang it. Yes,
no, they
didn't. The cutscenes were horrible. All right, I get it. The cutscenes were horrible, but y'all the ones that asked for Samus to talk. Y'all get all of the blame for this. So that's not my fault. But that gameplay, now I just need to do another. We need to do Other M2, but this time I need the rock bottom. She need to be able to do the rock bottom. She need to be able to do the Superman punch Roman Reigns style. She needed to be able to do a one wing angel from Kenny Omega. She need to be able to do
an RKO.
She need to be able to do an RKO. She already could do a British Bulldog because she did.
Yep.
She needs to be able to do the Falcon Arrow, and she needs to be able to do Gin and Juice with one of her teammates.
That would work. That would definitely work.
And for added effect, she needs to be able to do a Swanton Bomb as a morph ball.
As a morph ball,
off top of a mountain, roll up, and morph into a ball, and just slam down on something real hard.
Oh man!
And a Twist of Fate.
Yeah. Where she actually snaps a pirate's neck.
Yeah. Oh, and since Pikachu can do a Stone Cold Stunner, we got to let her be able to do a Stone Cold Stunner.
Yes. But when she does it, the cannon on their chin, and as she comes down, blast their jaw off.
And then she does this so she can get her beard. Her so yeah, that's all I need for Other M2. Y'all know y'all want these wrestling moves in there. Don't be looking at me like that.
Right. I know
be full of memes.
Somebody is just picturing it as it's happening, like describing it. Like, damn, that would be nice seeing her jump off a mountain. And she just jumps and does a swan dive, then turns into a morph ball, just slams down on something.
That game got too much. And so there's this guy on YouTube that goes by and he just drags all these old trashy reviews, and he goes through them like, hey, wait, so y'all didn't talk about the game, but for 30 seconds, and then the rest of this 10-minute review, all you did was show the in-game cutscenes. So are you more mad about the cutscenes or the game? Like, what are y'all doing? Like, I've seen a couple of reviews this guy been going through. I can't think of his name right now, but I'll try to find him and link it to you after this. But yeah, he just went through and started looking at some of these games. He's like, wow, this passed for gaming journalism at some point. This is oh, this is gross. I've heard a lot of complaints, but now I get to see it in action. Like he goes through all those old video reviews on, G4 TV, GameSpot. He goes through all those videos. He's like, wow, like they really phoned it in. Yeah.
I think the most egregious ones to me was the 3DS Castlevania game, and Other M. And the thing about Other M was that upset me was that's Nintendo gave fans, because people always say Nintendo don't listen. I'm like, that's bullshit. They listen too damn much.
Yes.
So because they listen to you, they let Team Ninja do it, but they had to be fully voiced at. I'm like, but y'all do know this is a Metroid game. She's by herself. She's only gonna be talking to herself, and it's not fun to do that unless you're gonna have an AI person that's like Ninja from Afro Samurai to make it fun. Other than that, it's gonna be, you gonna think she crazy.
Yep.
And what was the main complaint of Other M?
She
talking
crazy.
to herself too much.
Talking to herself.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, that's what happens because the game is about it. The only game that got it right, in my opinion, was Corruption, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, because you didn't let Samus talk. Great move. Thank you for that, number one. But everybody else could. Fine. Because when you got to the story parts of the game, they would give the exposition. And when you got to back into the meat of the game, she's by herself again.
Yep.
And that's the big problem with Metroid. Like, where everybody wanted her talking, but like, unless she's going to be working with the team, which if she's working with the team, people are going to be complaining.
And yep, because they're going to say that's not.
Samus is a powerhouse by herself. She doesn't need a team.
Mm-mm.
But then people, since we're on Metroid, people begged and pleaded for a game where you could play with the Federation.
Check.
And where you could play with the Federation in the squad. Yeah, it didn't look the best because it was on 3DS.
Yeah.
But it's still a decent game.
But check. That's what they wanted. So check.
Because they wanted a Halo-esque game. They want to see other people shooting and stuff around them, so it feels more like a Halo game. And I'm like, but then it's not Metroid anymore.
But Metroid has the lore that would allow for it to be a possibility. Where, but you can't do it with Samus. Because if you do it with Samus, it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
She's literally too powerful to be in that scenario. That's why you needed separate characters.
But that's only if you know the story. Oh, snap.
Yes.
I do.
Yes, because she's not showing up because she's fearless and going through all these mobs. They're afraid of her.
She's a boogeyman. She's essentially the boogeyman.
Yeah, yes. That's why when you play Fusion and the SAX is rolling around, you get to see what everybody else sees when she's creeping through a place. You get to see and get to feel that. Because I'm sorry, like that might have been a 2D game, but I know for a fact when I was playing that and that popped up, I'm
Wrecking shop.
I was like, nah, I'm gonna make sure I stay out your line of sight.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing. That's another thing too, because that I'm a little bit worried about Metroid Prime 4 because they keep getting all these people that came from other studios, and I'm like, y'all ain't never worked on no series like that. I'm trusting them. I'm trusting because it's retro.
Giving them an opportunity.
But they just need to go back and get the people that they let go. Get the guys that they went to go to the Halo 4 team and bring them back.
Well, a couple of them, they probably already came back, dude. Seeing how everything with 343 is right now. They probably on the phone with Nintendo. Hey man, can I get my job back, please?
Look,
these crazy.
I'm sorry, I won't complain again. I will not. I won't. I'm like, look, I'll even take a pay cut. I won't complain.
Yep.
Look, bring me back.
Yeah, I will move back to Austin, please. I will move back to Austin, Texas, please.
They believe in crunch time over here. I don't understand. I don't. Y'all just gave us a bi-weekly interview. Y'all just like, hey, how's the game going? And we're like, great. And that was it for like 2 years. Like these guys are standing over my back.
And y'all actually let us have a actual paintball fight in the actual lobby while wearing Splatoon heads.
Yes. Meanwhile, at Nintendo, that's
that's an actual picture, by the way. Yes. There was actually
that happened.
I really wish I could have been there for that.
Yeah. So
I'd have been going right for the Nintendo higher ups. I'd have tried to find all of them.
They were probably the ones winning.
It's crazy because the Treehouse does a lot of work. Like that's a lot of lines of text for that team to translate. That's some extremely boring work. But they love what they do so much because they know what the end result is going to be. that they inject themselves into it. So like you see a lot, like they're proud of some of the translations they did because they had to change a lot of the inflection from Japanese to English. So they made a personality out of some stuff where it would have been benign on the Japanese side because the way the Japanese text was originally intended, it meant something different than it would have meant here. Like it would have not been as important to us here as it would have been in Japan. So they change it. They're like, oh well, that's what that means for them. So this is what it means to us. So let me. They actually put that personality into the translations, and I think that's awesome, especially with all the stuff they do for the Mario RPG series and Mario and Luigi is amazing. Like they drill down, like, and they meme themselves. They're self-aware. Is great.
And if you want to read some really messed up, childish stuff, just read some of those other diaries in Breath of the Wild, especially the archery girl.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. And then what was it?
Is this E for everyone?
Not at all.
Her diary was not E for everyone.
No.
Look,
there's murder, sex, deceit.
I didn't say it multiple times. The game's rating is not the same as the maturity level.
No.
Nope, it's not. But it's funny how Nintendo always seem to get away with that, and they put some like remember Wind Waker? There was some straight up like horror stuff in there where they started talking about when Ganon pulled the spirits' souls out of their body but destroyed their body so they couldn't reincarnate.
Yep.
Yeah. Then,
that's extreme hatred right there.
And let's not forget spoilers for a 17-year-old game. He stabs him in the goddamn head.
In the head.
No, he don't just stab.
Yeah, it's
he lunges and plants that sword in his face.
Let's not forget Zelda in that game. She was also very violent. Like, let's not get it twisted.
She's
a pirate.
She's a straight up pirate. Like the worst part is she launching Link out a cannon toward a fortress. I'm like,
he can take it. He's a hero all time.
Straight up don't even respect this man. Just lock him.
If he dies, he'll reincarnate into another hero of time. It's okay. It's all right.
I mean, Luffy would be proud. Luffy and the Straw Hat crew would be proud.
I mean, actually, Link and
so they also always touch on. There's always at least one or more alternate love interests for Link that they're just like, we're gonna friends.
As of late, every Zelda game, nearly everybody wants to bone Link.
Yes.
I don't know what Nintendo's trying to say.
But even in Link to the Past, it was a thing. And then like, so you're going to put this babe on me and she's going to turn into a demon. Okay.
A Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, George's Mad.
I think Hyrule Warriors was like the one. I think Hyrule Warriors was the one where they just like put it face front. Like, look, the main, there are three characters in here that will literally, one of them literally wants to sexually assault Link. The other one is like, she's just like, she thirsty. She just hella thirsty. And all looking all sad anytime anytime he ever talked to somebody else. Like if he looks at Zelda, she gets mad. I'm like, what the? Like, we're fighting a war right now.
That and the entire Gerudo, just that entire mini game to get into their time. Like, that's just okay. And those are different levels of. I'm like, this is, and just talking to people before you get there and stuff. Other dudes are like, I tried to get in there because there was some babes in there, man. I'm like, whoa, what is happening? This is a Nintendo game. Okay, and great.
Then you go to that. Then you go to that class.
Everything but the pole. Everything but the pole. Apparently.
I'm just sitting there like, man, dude. Okay, so let me get this straight. This town full of 6 foot, 7 foot warrior women that will kill a dude has no idea how to talk to somebody.
No idea.
And that's why.
No idea.
Because they so focused on fighting.
But they send them out. They have to go on pilgrimages, which is why you see them all over the place. And there's even a side quest for one where I felt bad for that dude. when you go to the Heart Lake, I felt bad for that Holly. I'm like, bro, she finna control. Woo, boy.
She's gonna chew you alive. Like, you won't even.
I'm like, hey, man, we gonna pray for you, bro. That's all we can do for you. Because she was like ultra aggressive, and she was like, yeah, uh-huh. Oh, he want me? Oh yeah, I'm gonna handle that. I'm like, God
Yep.
damn. Link looking like, bruh, run.
Look, I can only get you 2, maybe 3 minutes tops as a distraction. Run.
Yeah.
He's like,
Because
I
the
like-
second
I
she
like-
book it for you, you done.
Yeah.
he's over there like, I like the blonde chick with memory issues. I don't
Yeah.
wanna.
I'm like,
Yeah, y'all.
But yeah, I like that because I wouldn't mind, honestly, to be completely 100. I wouldn't mind playing a straight up Gerudo spinoff game because I kind of they make you, ever since Ocarina of Time, they kind of make you like or they made the culture kind of interesting.
They make it interesting and they make you sympathize with them.
Yeah.
Yes, which is what happened in Ocarina of Time and Link's Awakening definitely that shit was sad, but I think from some perspective that has to happen, and I'm wondering if Nintendo obviously hasn't forgotten about Groose. I think at some point they're going to start talking about how that divide started. Well, I don't know if it's going to be from their perspective or not. I would like it to be, so we get to know.
My theory?
Go ahead.
You want to hear my theory on something? Now, this is going to be like a little bit, and we're almost done, people. So if you don't like Zelda, I'm sorry. Deal with it. So that's a joke, people. Y'all stay. We love you. But so Breath of the Wild, they said, the original prophecy was that the calamity was going to come and that the key to stopping it is under the castle. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was under the castle? In Breath of the Wild 2 trailer, who was under the castle? That's under the castle. That's
Ganon.
Castle. That was Ganondorf, right? What if Ganondorf ain't the bad? What if this Ganondorf has realized that he's under a curse and he's like, I'm not dealing with this? What if that was the person that's supposed to save them, not
Link.
Not the all the guardians and all that stuff. Because remember they unearthed the guardians and our divine beasts and all that. But what if the thing that was
Guardians are bad.
was actual Ganondorf, because Ganondorf was like, I realize, because they got to bring Demise back, like you said with Groose. They got to do something with Groose. You don't bring in Demise in Skyward Sword and just have
Forget about it.
Yeah, he's the god of evil, just like Hylia is a god. So, and then on top of that, the last part of my theory is, one, when Zelda got her power awakened or whatever, she had the full Triforce on the back of her hand. She's not supposed to have that.
Yeah, the whole joint.
Yeah,
so
Link's supposed to have a piece. Ganondorf's supposed to have a piece. She's supposed to have a piece. So they're gonna have to explain that, because this is after Ocarina of Time, because they actually say that in the game on 2 occasions. They bring up Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword.
And she appears to be in full goddess mode at this point. So what? So is this must be the downfall then?
Yeah.
How it gets split up into the next timeline.
And the other thing too is, if Ganondorf realized that that the curse is on him, and he finds a way to break it, that would mean all 3 of them have to fight Demise.
Yes.
Because it doesn't make sense. The Master Sword
or Hylia, depending.
Yeah. Well, the Master Sword ain't never lost power before, which means Fee's getting weak.
Yeah.
Fee's getting weak because, spoiler alert for 11-year-old game, you don't kill Demise at the end of Skyward Sword. You just stop him.
Seal him away.
Yeah. And the way the geniuses decide to do that is to put him in the Master Sword. Dummies. You shoot him to the sun. That's how you get rid of people. Has Dragon Ball movie 8 taught anybody? No, movie 10 taught anybody anything? How do you stop Broly? You shoot him into the sun. How do you stop Demise? You shoot him into the sun.
So all that killing you were doing in Hyrule Castle, were you really killing, or were you absorbing all of that so Demise could return? Yeah.
Because that miasma is not, Ganondorf ain't never came with a miasma.
Not like that.
Not like that. But when you fight Demise, remember the first thing right before Demise forms, you see all that black, purple miasma.
That was covering everywhere, which is why you couldn't just drop anywhere you wanted in Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
That means if they bring back Demise, who else is coming back?
Oh, everybody's Link's favorite fan.
Oh yeah, of course. But of course.
Even
But
though it's
dude,
him.
that's the first time Link was like, "Hey man, get off me, dude." Man, when you first see him and he stick his tongue out, Link like, "Hey man, hey, hey, dude."
But will Demise need him? I guess is the question at that
No,
point. Now he
no,
won't need him at
He
that point.
wouldn't need him, but
Mm.
he is his sword.
Yeah. So if he's out, then yeah, he'll be there. So
he's gonna have to be.
Unless he sides with Ganondorf.
yeah.
And I don't think Ganondorf, because I don't see Ganondorf doing that, because Ganondorf ain't one to be controlled. Ganondorf ain't one to be controlled. Like,
No, he
no,
does the controlling. Yeah.
well, because if you go back to Wind Waker, remember the whole reason why he was doing this was because the Hylians were technically racist.
Yes.
They were technically racist. They were like, they didn't want those basically sand people messing with him. And he was like, wait a minute, y'all won't even trade with us? I'm like, dude, I'm a king, and y'all won't even talk to me?
He was controlling Aghanim in the third game.
Yeah, he was controlling him. So I'm like, Ganondorf is a king, so he has to do what he has to do. So he's not really, when you think about it, is he really evil? Nah, not really, because the Hylians are really kind of like, they didn't even want to work with your boy. So, like, he's a king as well.
He had to.
He did what he had to do. And so I don't see Ganondorf as being this ultimate. After Wind Waker, he's not. To me, he's not the ultimate evil. And then when you play Skyward Sword, I'm like, oh, y'all just put this stuff into context.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm looking at Breath of the Wild, and then I start playing Breath of the Wild. I'm like, y'all keep saying Calamity Ganon, but this ain't Ganon.
Yeah.
Like, this is not Ganon. This is more like Demise, if anything, because the power it rages out of control. It's black, purple malice, which if you play Skyward Sword, you know where that comes from. And you're like, this ain't. I'm like,
it's more like a leakage, more like a leakage of Demise's power.
As much as I think about it too, there's very few references of actual Ganondorf.
Yeah.
In this, it just says the Great Calamity Ganon, and the hero beat him so long ago, whatever. So they don't remember what happened as much those thousands of years ago or 500 years ago.
Well, they don't from the game story itself. They don't know what happened at the end of Ocarina of Time.
Nope.
They don't. They really don't. They have no clue. So, because remember,
to them,
that was the first time
Ganondorf was foreign.
Yeah. Look, the other thing too is like Ganondorf at that was the first time that the bad guy actually won.
Yeah.
But Ganondorf never did Ganondorf took over and had monsters come in, but he ain't never do it like was being done here. So something ain't adding up.
I'm still trying to think. What was his? Wait, did he even state what his ultimate goal was at the end of Ocarina of Time?
It was to get to.
He just wanted the Triforce, right?
He wanted the Triforce so he could make a wish, so he could help his people. The whole point was to him to make a wish. The problem was he wanted to be the most powerful, because if you're the most powerful, then clearly you can make everything right.
Yeah.
So, but the problem was when he got in there, he killed the thieves that came with him.
Yeah,
he basically bloodlusted and tainted.
Yeah. And that's what happened. But at the end of Skyward Sword, you find out that the only reason why he was acting like that because it's a curse put on him, which is why Ganondorf has red hair, because Demise had flaming red hair. Apparently, that's what people put two and two together. But when you play Wind Waker, you find out that he ain't really crazy. He's just a king, and like there's just two countries that wouldn't work together.
And they used his malice. Well, Demise needed his malice to be able to carry out his intent.
Yeah.
Which is why the other king is just a floating ghost that can't do too much of nothing. And he's like, well, I'm dead, but why can't I get stuff done if he could get stuff done? And they're like, nope, you can just sit here and give advice. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
We'll turn you into a boat at some point.
Yeah, we'll turn you into a boat. Yeah, so how about that? So until talking boat.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, my theory is I don't think Ganondorf is the bad guy in Breath of the Wild 2. I think that's like a red herring. And especially if he's mummified, like why would he be under there?
Yeah.
And people, if you are going to seal something, don't build your house on top of it. Have we learned nothing from Poltergeist?
Yeah, you don't do that.
Have we not learned anything from Castlevania?
Yeah, don't do that either.
Don't build your house on top of it. Build your house in the next state.
Yes.
Be away from it.
Yeah. No, I'm the king of Hyrule. Let's build the Hyrule Castle right on top of this fool.
Yeah, that don't work.
That is so arrogant.
It kind of is actually.
It's like,
we're gonna put a temple above it too. They're like, so
Yeah.
we did this thing, and we're gonna put you here, and we're gonna pray about it every other week.
Right over top of you.
Yeah,
Well, y'all can't wait to Usher Board me, can you? So yeah, so I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, like that's like, all right, bro, y'all wildin' Highlands, y'all some wildin' Highlands, boy, for real. Because it seems like the only two people that ain't crazy is Link and Zelda.
Pretty much, they're just like, okay, we keep
Damn.
dying, and we keep doing this over and over. They still don't get it. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
What is happening?
In the words of the honest trailer guy, like Link is always born 15 years before shit hits the fan.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
I like, dude, I love the honest trailer guy, dude, because he be like, sometimes this stuff be funny, but they're like, damn, dude, he actually has a point.
Yep. It's like taking the 10. It's like, oh,
Yep.
well, yeah, we're really bad at keeping things secure. Here we go again.
That's another thing with people, like, as we've talked about it multiple times, where people don't understand the story as to why it's the Legend of Zelda and not the Legend of Link.
Yeah.
Because Link is always forgotten, but if he's remembered, he'd be killed.
Yep.
Every time he reincarnates.
Because if you think, because I think the Yiga clan killed Zelda's mom in this one. She ain't died mysteriously. She got murdered.
No, she got killed.
She got murdered.
She was the sitting queen. She got killed.
Yeah. And that's
Because
why
they probably thought it was her that had the power, so she was the target.
And the funny thing about it is, Zelda was getting chased by them in Breath of the Wild till Link came and started, doing his job. So I'm like, if they would have known about him, he would have died too.
Yeah.
I just hate that she was doing that literally just to lure him out. I'm like, they don't have a chance against you. Why are you doing this? I don't understand. You try to pretend to be this helpless little nerd girl, and you're like literally a nuclear weapon. I don't understand.
Well, that's only if she knows. If her mom was the only person who knew, her dad didn't know how to
talk to her about doing it.
He didn't. And the thing about Link is always a fighter. Every time they put, even if Link is a nice upstanding dude, he's still a fighter. Something about him makes him wants to fight. That's the thing, because like they explained it in Ocarina of Time that he's brave for no reason. In Wind Waker, he was just reckless for no reason. In Twilight Princess, he was just, I dare you kidnap. He's Liam Neeson in Twilight Princess.
Wait, but really, when you think about it, though, just going back to what y'all were talking about with the Yiga clan, that's likely what happened with Link's parents in Ocarina of Time, is that they were trying to figure out where Link was.
Yeah.
And
which is why he had no relative. It was just his uncle.
They ended up attacking his village.
Yep. And they killed his dad, and they shot his mom in the back, because that's why when she got to the Lost Woods, the baby Link was already out, and she was dying, and there wasn't nobody could save her. So that's how
the tree saved him.
Yeah.
Would that also explain why his only nightmare is the creation of Dark Link in Twilight Princess?
Yep.
Because he has that whole dream, and I'm like, wow, that's a freaky dream. And then and Dark Link emerges. He's afraid of himself.
They need to bring Dark Link back. They really
honestly, when you think about it, why wasn't Dark Link in Twilight Princess?
He got cut. I think he got cut.
He got cut, and then they showed how he got created too. So
because they were supposed to have. It was supposed to have been like 2 or 3 things you're supposed to do as Sheik with Zelda.
Oh yeah,
that got cut. So those 2 things got cut out. So because they have the artwork for the Dark Link versus Link fight.
I mean, that game makes the most sense
for him to have
for Dark Link to show up, because Dark Link, like, that's the most ferocious version of Link, and you would think Dark Link would show up.
Nah, that would have been ooh, boy,
that would have been that'd have been a brutal fight.
So if they put that in this game, if you just walk up to a tree and he just posted up by the tree, that'd be just bring it right on back.
They could do exactly what they did in the Water Temple, where you walk from one end of the room to the next.
Just minus the Water Temple.
Minus the Water Temple for everybody that can't get through. But what they could do is set up like what they like in Zelda 2 and the fortress.
Yeah.
Like, and when you get to the end of the fortress,
and that's
the
him.
treasure that you need is at the end, the very end of a room.
He's there.
You go get the treasure. No, you go get the
No, yeah,
treasure.
you get it first, and then
Turn around, and he's standing right in front of the door, and that's your only in and out. He's like, only way you getting out of here is through me, buddy.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind if Dark Link's like a recurring, like he's like a recurring.
He should be.
Yeah.
Because every link has a different fear of himself.
Yeah.
And he was the boss of that dungeon, because the boss at the end. No. He was the boss of that. I don't know why, like, they made him a mini boss, but it was like that was a required moment that needed to happen. You finally figured out how to get out of this area because the Water Temple was its own boss or whatever for so many people, then you finally get up there.
I guess you got to look at it as he has the harder fight and more struggle against himself, and after he comes out of that, he's stronger. So the next opponent seems like nothing.
That's another.
No, next opponent just was nothing. The Morphin just was nothing.
I was trying to add some symbolism to it.
He adds some perspective there, the way it could seem.
I'm just saying. I mean, Morphin sucked. So
I ain't gonna lie, that's true.
It's just one of those things where you're just like, well, I like the way that was presented, and I think they should continue to do different takes on that. It doesn't have to be exactly that. Walk up to the Mirage tree. It could just be, hey, there's a giant opening, or there's a you just got through doing a whole bunch of stuff. You feel some type of accomplishment, and then you walk up. There's no way out, and he shows up, and then that's it. And then you feel so much accomplishment from that or whatever that either whatever comes after that is worthless, or you feel some type of regret, knowing that what you just defeated is you type situation.
I mean, they could actually make it like their version of Resident Evil's Mr. X, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, have Link just be like, have Dark Link
show up.
Yeah, just have him show up at different areas and like, didn't I just kill you?
Like, he's like, nope.
He's always a part of Link anyway.
Yeah. So he can't.
Or if they wanna do something slick like a Castlevania Portrait of Ruin did, where you had to, because you had to face the whip memory in order to get the full power of the whip. Like, so you have something like maybe an item like the Mirror of Truth has to be acquired, and you have to look into.
Oh yeah, I remember that now. Okay.
Or Link to acquire the full power of the Triforce. Say he's building back up to get the full power of the Triforce of Courage, and he has to look into the Mirror of Truth and face himself in order to get it.
Man, I haven't played that game in a while. I got like 4 DSs over here. I need to start that. I haven't played that game in a long time.
Question, and this will be my last question, then we're getting out of here because we're kind of over time. So, do you think that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to give Link his Triforce power back?
Probably.
I'm thinking so. I'm thinking they're going to show why they left her hands.
Yeah, because he needs to have it back, because in the end of that, in the boss fight, once again, spoilers for a 3-year-old game. She straight up says, yeah, she straight up says, you don't have your power. Zelda straight up tells him, like, look, you ain't got your power, but that don't mean nothing. You the hero. And so he basically has to fight without.
That's another notch to his character, though. Like, because he's still capable of doing everything he was capable of doing, even without having his actual power.
Yeah. So that's the other reason why I'm like, that's not Ganondorf. That ain't Ganon, because like if he tries to fight Ganon without his Triforce, he's dead. He's dead. I like Link. Link, my boy. He's my favorite video game character hero. But he ain't fighting Ganondorf without his Triforce piece. He's a dead.
Ganondorf ain't gonna fight him if he ain't got it.
Yeah. He went demon worthy.
It was like, it ain't worth the fight, man.
Nah, man.
And the only reason he wants to fight him is because he wants all the Triforces together anyway.
Yeah.
So,
so like,
but he don't want it to be. Oh, I'm gonna pluck him off early. He's like, nah. I want to see you at your best, so I can put as much despair in you as possible.
Yeah, which is another reason why I think like the 3 of them. If Nintendo plays their cards right, the 3 of them, Link, Ganondorf, and Zelda, should be the ones that have to face demise. Yeah.
Yes.
And that way you give all the people that Zelda needs to fight. You give it to them. But it has to be all 3 of them.
What if I say they already had that fight?
I'll say I know what you're talking about, but most of the people that's watching this don't, and I'm not finna get into that. So I'm gonna pretend like they never had that fight. So, but yeah, I mean I think that's the way they're kind of, especially since I want to say since Twilight Princess, they kind of started building toward that a little bit. Like
It
they
was
made
pretty obvious in Twilight
yeah.
Princess that's the direction they were headed.
In Twilight Princess, the thing was we never saw Zelda like, nah, you ain't finna hurt my people. I'll pull out a sword and go straight to you. So I'll bring it to you. So
because when she was going to do it, Zant already had her people.
Yeah, he already had
hostages. Because if Zant would have came right at her, he was dead.
Oh, he
knew
dead.
It.
He was so dead.
Like you could tell, like you ain't even gotta see her in action. You could just tell by looking at her and her responses to things how thorough she is. I'm like, yeah, nah, Zant would have walked in there. He'd have walked in there, had his head cleaved clean off his shoulder.
Yeah, and it would have been her that did it. I mean, that's why he had to walk in. He had to go to the Bleach universe, grab a couple of hollows, and then.
Well, you know.
He was not going at her head up. He would have been killed.
Yeah. So when they did that, and then you see Skyward Sword, where they actually talk about the actual origin, and I know people say that this is not canon, but the way they left that game, it can be canon, depending just because of one character in there. When you see Hyrule Warriors and you see the Queen, what her potential is, yeah. Ain't nobody beating Queen Zelda.
No, nobody wants that smoke.
Nobody wants that smoke.
The only competent person power-wise to compete with her is Ganondorf.
Yeah, and that's just because the way they do Ganondorf, he's a fast tank. He's a fast tank. He's a tank, but he's fast. It's like, and if he goes crazy, you have to deal with a giant pig.
Let's be real. Link don't want that smoke.
Nah, not by himself.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
He don't want that smoke.
Nah. Well, hold on. Twilight Princess Link want that smoke.
Yeah,
Twilight Princess Link want that smoke with anybody.
Yeah, because he's already pissed off. Yeah.
Yeah.
He about the only one to go head with anybody.
Yeah, you're like, okay, oh, so you really want to do this? You really want to do this? You really want to do this? I mean, is it okay? Is it okay for us to do this? Are you saying it's okay for us to do this? You really do this? Like,
he's like, I just created my own arch nemesis, and you really want to pull this on me? Okay. All right. Yeah. This is what I. Oh, and I get the upward thrust back? Oh, dear Lord.
I have 6 moves I've been waiting to try out. You better entertain me. So, yeah.
Plus, on top of that, he got the training from the Link Ocarina of Time Link.
Yeah. And Ocarina of Time Link is like a beast in his own right. So, you sit there looking like, yeah, bro, the only Link that won't smoke with literally anybody is Twilight Princess Link. Twilight Princess Link will fight them demise head up.
Probably by himself. He would like, look, y'all head out. I got this.
Yeah. Here, Zelda, take the shield. I don't even want this. I don't even want the shield.
That's the messed up thing, though. The Twilight Princess Link and Zelda are probably the most combat ready Link and Zelda.
Yeah. Yeah, that was probably the point of that game, because they were trying to, I guess they were trying to get out of the whole the whole GameCube myth, if you will. But
until you actually played Wind Waker,
they had already been doing that in several other games, regardless of what the presentation was. It was kind of overkill in the way that they had to do it that way. And it's not the masses forgot anyway, because it was against what their premise was. They're just like, no, Nintendo's kiddie, and they made my Zelda kitty from Shoshinkai, so I don't want to see it.
I'm going to assume that most of the people that played Wind Waker didn't finish that game.
No, they didn't. They said Zelda, and then they didn't play another Zelda game again. Especially after Skyward Sword came out. Oh, another Zelda.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing about it was I remember talking about this with Zen, and we were like, dude, if you actually made it through all of Wind Waker, that's probably one of the darker stories. People love to talk about Majora's Mask, bruh. Nah, the stuff that Ganon was doing in Wind Waker was just like, bro, what the?
I was sad when I first walked in the palace and it was black and white and everybody was frozen in battle. I was done with
and
that.
Some people were dying.
Yeah.
They were in the middle of dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was done with that, and then there was no quarter was the word of the day. So women, children, medics.
If you was in that castle, you was dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty much how that went.
They don't get no darker than that.
Yeah. So
oh man, now I'm thinking of what the scenario would look like if Twilight Princess Link was the Link in Hyrule Warriors.
Mass destruction.
That would explain all of those bodies. That would explain a lot of the bodies.
That would explain a lot of things. But all right, people. That is going to be our episode for this week. Just a little side note before we get out of here. We will be off for the next 2 weeks. I got something I got to do for work next week, so I won't be paying attention to the internet at all. And the week after that is Thanksgiving, so we're gonna be gone for 2 weeks. I'm still gonna have the fresh take reviews of Mandalorian up for everybody. So if you want to scurry on over to the fresh take playlist, you can see all of the reviews for the Mandalorian season 2. And I'm going to try to get some gameplay up on my game on the gaming channel of the Miles Morales Spider-Man game. No, it's not the PS5 version; it's PS4 version, but
same
who
game.
cares?
Same game, man.
So that's it. Shadow, anything you want to pimp out before we get out of here?
No, still just follow me on Twitter and follow me on YouTube still. I'll update content as soon as I can. I'm in the middle of a planning phase right now, so we'll get stuff up. I do have content. It's just like, how do I organize it and how do I upload it? So just stay tuned. And do you play games to have fun or to impress other people?
All right. And Andre?
Well, I got my normal stuff coming out. I am actually working on a new Cross Zone video. It's been a couple years. Scripting it out. I got most of the images. I'm setting up all the gameplay footage I'm going to be using. I'm hoping that I can get this done pretty soon, but depends on my work schedule. But I got it most of the way scripted.
All right.
So like those videos take a lot of planning. Like no matter how big or small they all are. So if anybody's interested and you want to see what type of videos those are, the playlist is on my channel. There's 9 videos in there, and I'm working on number 10 finally.
All right, cool. All right, then, people, as we love to say around here, Wakanda forever, and we'll see you guys later. Peace out, peeps.
Peace.
Peace.